Saint Thomas of Canterbury, Saint Thomas Becket. This is the saint the Church celebrates today as a feast in England. When we think of saints, we often associate them with figures of deep holiness, asceticism, and those who have shown the grace of God, the joy of knowing Christ at any moment, at every moment of their lives. Well, yes, this is the case with many saints, but more often than not, saints, like any one of us, undergo spiritual conversions, a deeper sense of the love of Christ in their lives, which prompt them to change the way they live. And this is the case of Thomas. He was born in London in 1118, or around that time, and he lived a very worldly life. He was well known for his diplomacy and administrative skills rather than for his holiness or for his scholarship. He did not display the characteristics of a saint which we normally associate with a monk or a priest. Still, as I said, he was well known for his administrative skills, and working in the household of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Theobald, he caught the attention of the king, Henry II. The two became friends, and at the age of 36, Henry II chose him to be Chancellor of England, one of the most powerful and most important positions in the land. At this time, Thomas was a member of the clergy, but he was a deacon. He wasn't a priest. He served the king very well and promoted the interests of the crown wherever he could, even against the interests of the church. Perhaps it is because of this, then in 1162, the king chose him to become the new Archbishop of Canterbury. Maybe he thought that Thomas would serve him very well in the highest position in the church in England. As I mentioned, Thomas wasn't a priest, wasn't a bishop. So in 1162, on the 2nd of June, he was ordained priest. On the 3rd of June, he was ordained bishop and enthroned at Canterbury as the Archbishop. But at this time, at the time of around his ordination, Thomas experienced a change of heart, a deeper sense of conversion. And that led him to change the way he lived, but also change the way he worked in and for the church. From that time onwards, he became an ascetic. He became a person wholly devoted to faith and spiritual life. And crucially, for his well-being and for the king, he became more concerned in upholding and promoting the rights of the church, of the people of God. Now, he sought to compromise in many occasions with the king, who at the end of the day was also a friend. But when this became impossible, Thomas fled England, had to seek refuge in France for some years, living in a monastery. On his return to England, or shortly after his return to England, his disagreement with the king carried on and escalated, and some of the knights of the king stormed into Canterbury Cathedral at the end or during evensong and murdered Thomas Becket. If you visit Canterbury Cathedral, you can still see both the place where he was killed and the place where the shrine dedicated to him, where his body laid, were before the Reformation. Thomas was venerated as a martyr straight away. The king repented of his rash words that led the knights to murder Thomas. He did penance for this, and then Thomas was declared a saint, and his tomb, his shrine, became the site of popular pilgrimages. Now, when we think of Thomas, a question can come to our minds, especially in our cynical modern world. Can people really, truly change? Can they go from worldly life to devotion to God and experience a complete change of heart like that, a spiritual awakening? Well, Thomas teaches us, yes, that you can do that. Through the grace of God, we can always, always change for the better. So as we look at Thomas and we ask for his prayers for our parish, what is the change God is asking you to make? What is the change God is asking you to make? And I'm asking this to myself as well. May St. Thomas help us to discern in the grace of God what change God is asking us to make.